Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again for EU Challenger Cup Week 5. Last week of the open bracket competition. Next week, we do head into our top 8 in the round robin. I'm not sure which format we're going with. Last split we did go with the two groups, obviously, of 4. And that was how it was all played out. Once again, my name is, of course, Ranconius. Joining me is the one and only Shadow Boy. Shadow Boy, we're in picks and bans, and this is Losing Road versus the Poppies.
Yeah, Losing Road holding the fourth place as of last week, and then the Poppies at 5th place. So these two are just right next to each other in terms of the standings list. But I feel like this is the distinct point where the Poppies can go ahead and take the lead over Losing Road and get potentially up into the top 3 if they do well the rest of the tournament. However, it's going to come down to this match first. And looking at the picks and bans, it's seeming like they have a pretty good team composition for late game. Already have a lot of survivability with the Khepri and Hell. Meanwhile, over on the other side, Serket is a pretty good pick, especially when you consider her 100% anti-healing with her ultimate. And Odin. So a lot of anti-heal on Losing Road.
Yeah, and just watching to see whether it does actually get locked in or not. Nuwa is currently the other hover that we're seeing in Klein. Of course, you guys are watching with thanks to Tier Monster and the Tier Monster picking screen. All a shout out to Lord Wizkid Opon. The entire damn crew have been working so hard to get this entire Challenger Cup off without a hitch. It's been a phenomenal effort from them. Nuwa and Odin are going to be the locks in. So Hell into her counter, into potentially 2 counters. But here's the crucial factor. From the side of the Poppies, they have a Khepri, and now they have an Isis. There's so much healing, and there's so much anti-healing in this game. This is one versus the other.
Yeah, and the hard part about the anti-heal versus heal matchup is that you have to be able to do everything in perfect synchronization. So as soon as the Odin ultimate comes down, you have to immediately burst down your primary targets, which in this instance is probably going to be Hell. But you also have to worry about the fact that you're putting a large focus AoE circle, and Isis is probably going to put her large AoE focus circle right on top of that one. So with circle protections, that offers a little bit more of an advantage in certain circumstances, especially if Nuwa tries to get a little too close just to maybe get an explosion from her clay minions. So, excuse me. So basically, there's another large AoE circle being thrown onto Poppies as Hoyu is locked in. So basically, Losing Road has to pick their timing perfectly if they want to be able to utilize all this anti-heal that they're going for. However, I do think that Serket is a good option nonetheless. She's going to be able to do a lot for the team in terms of focusing out this Hell, using that last breath onto the Hell can set up a chance to kill her off. Now, of course, this is Hell in the Soul Lane, so she's going to be a bit tankier, so that might become a bit more difficult as the game progresses.
Yeah, obviously, but the thing that's very crucial about the comp that's coming through from the Poppies as well is that it's kind of like straight line pick off. They're going to land a Solar Flare, they've got a Ricochet combo with the Mark of the Golden Crow, and they've also got the Spirit Ball. That's their CC chain at this point. You're not going to look for an Abduct into a Solar Flare or into something else like that. That's not something that you're generically going to be seeing happening. It's not something like a Xingqiang where you're going to blink in, you're going to ultimate, and then you're going to start the fight out from there, because Xingqiang is active on this patch. Remember, Sol is the disabled champion. So Apollo and Chung are. It's going to be an Odin support. Potentially a Chung support, potentially, but with shenanigans. Shenanigans aside,
if we wanted to talk about shenanigans, Serket support, I mean, you know, she has the CC. She has it. It's an option.
And she's highly mobile.
See, look at that. Look at that. All the tools for support. But no, jokes aside, you were mentioning.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an Odin support. So, Apollo, obviously, generic AD carry. I really like Huyi's potential to outplay in the very early portions of the game, then he fades out for a long portion, except for that ultimate. But they have the tools to set up with that ultimate as well.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of potential, and on top of that, I think I really like the the dual lane combination that they can pull off with the Hou Yi. Mark the Crow, when he comes down from his jump, sets up a knock-up for Wheelix to use her ultimate. So there's a couple of tools to be able to use the ultimate from a Wheelix. But I think that I'm more so worried about the dual lane for Losing Road, because Odin is very strong. He's very potent, has a lot of capabilities to do damage and really pressure the dual lane. But I think the one thing he suffers from is that if he doesn't get that pressure off, say he doesn't get a good bird bomb explosion onto, you know, the opposing dual lane, and let's say, you know, they get pushed back a little bit. Odin doesn't really do fairly well when the lanes are pushed back. In fact, he actually suffers a little bit and can fall behind really hard. He has to really absorb a lot of lane and wave XP just to keep relevant, whereas Capri can go into any lane and really make a play happen with his CC. Odin has to wait to level 5 to have any CC to offer for some of these fights. So I think that's one of the issues that they're going to run into. Apollo, not necessarily the most aggressive by nature, you know, AD carry to combo with Odin in terms of just getting the wave clear and then transitioning over into an immediate kill, kind of similar to like maybe an On Her, Shablanque, or maybe even a Cupid. So I think that Losing Road's dual lane is a little awkward to me, but I think that the solo lane is going to be really interesting because basically they're taking the anti-heal from Chang'e and trying to utilize that onto Hell.
Yeah, and I think crucially as well, they did need to pick up something coming from the solo lane from the side of Losing Road that had some form of CC. That the ultimate coming out of Chang'e across the entire team, some really nice up combos, some really good synergy. I like it when used in combination with an Odin as well. It can be phenomenal in that sort of a setup. But is it going to work here? Is it good enough? The combos, they need to be on point because they don't have a lot of CC. It's very focused. It's not huge amounts of blink Gabolt. We're here, you know. It's Odin jumps in. Oh look, we've got a cage. We have to fight them in the cage, but they're still running around. They're still doing damage in the cage, and that is what worries me. Yeah, sure, Hell is not going to be able to heal anyone that's inside that cage. Isis not going to be able to heal anyone inside that cage, but everyone else they will be able to heal, and everyone inside that cage anyway is going to be able to continue putting out damage. And for me, that is the huge risk that Losing Road have taken with a high lack of CC comp. But they are looking for burst kills, and that's what I like.
Yeah, I mean, you have to respect any team that has a full forward mentality, and even the Poppies, to a certain extent, are playing that way. They don't have any large AoE presence, as you mentioned, that Losing Road doesn't have. And when I say presence, I mean like the Gab Sylvanas, Dream, or even a Ymir with a Cone Freeze. They've got Capri who can displace one person effectively, but not so much everybody else. So both teams not sitting on the greatest of initiation tools. Wheelix and Kepri a little bit better off than the Cirquette and Odin on the other side. But I think that if anything, the Poppies have, in my opinion, the better team composition for the overall game. I think they're going to scale really well in the late game. I think they have enough early tools to make it to that point too with the Isis of Wheelix. So I'm excited to see how this one turns out.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the game. Players just finishing up their loading in. It is going to be Losing Road in 4th spot on the Challenger Cup ladder, sitting at 120 points. They have locked themselves into a Challenger Cup berth just by making this round. There is nobody now that can knock them out of contention. Puppies looking to secure potentially a top 4 seed moving ahead into the round robin competition. They're on 85 points. They have to finish 3rd or better and knock Losing Road out in this round. If Losing Road progressed from this round over the Puppies, well, if Losing Road, no matter where they finish, progressed to the next round, even if the Puppies are on the opposite side of the bracket, they would be finishing top 4 minimum. But here, Losing Road fall out, Puppies win, they have to finish, I think it's 3rd or better to pop up into that top 4, and seeding is going to be so crucial next week.
I mean, that's when we start the round robin phase, I do believe. So it is becoming a pretty important deal as to where you are on the seeding list. But a little bit of warding coming, or excuse me, we're getting loaded into the game. I'm assuming that the viewers can see it, but go ahead and take us down the lineup for Losing Road.
Ladies and gentlemen, from all the way over on the side of Mount Olympus in the Chaos, older side of things, Blue Elf Buzz, coming from the left-hand, sorry, the bottom side of your mini-map. It is going to be the side of Losing Road. Apollo, played by Unarity, is going to be your ADC. In the support role, it is going to be Fusion or Fuzzian, whichever way you want to say that. On Odin in the mid lane, it is going to be Farrakrick on the Nuwa, coming to us from the jungle, playing in the creature that is an arachnid. Hestrix is your Circuit, and finally, our famous dancer, it is going to be Kespanifi on the Chang'e.
And over in the red jerseys, we've got the Poppies. David Arnaz in the dual lane as Kepri support. Perilia 12 is the Hoi Yi 80 carry. Middle lane, Alex MC at Isis. Dalo in the jungle as a Wheelix. And finally, Warchi is Hell in the solo lane. Everything's starting out pretty calmly across the map. Nobody going for any invades. Kind of one of these strategies that people like to go for if they think they can outbox.
Left-hand side already. Unarity is going to take a lot of damage here. They've dumped him down to half health, and this is just level 1. He's got 1 potion, and he's already that low. And Fusion, this is not the start that Losing Road wanted. They wanted to get a little bit aggressive over here on the left-hand side of the map. Not the case. Mid-camps on the left-hand side. Puppies are the ones that will be picking those up, and I have a feeling they picked the right ones up as well, because look at Circuit.
I mean, yeah, Circuit is actually staying in the solo lane for quite a while, actually. We're used to seeing them move over into the middle lane, and because she hasn't done that, they're going to make a move onto the back left side Harpies, the members of the Poppies, and they're going to be able to successfully get it. It is pinged out, so Losing Road does know it's happening, but at the same time, their dual lane is in no position to really help here. You take a look at Apollo and Odin, both of which are dangerously low, but there's the bird bomb. There's going to be the aggression coming on to Unarity, and unfortunately not landing the skill shot to secure that kill. That's going to be a missed opportunity, but the Poppies still have plenty of control over the lane. Meanwhile, Chang'e about to get jumped on.
She's just about to get dumped on. There's going to be a Wheelish that jumps all over her. Kaspanify is so low, looking for final auto attack. Dalo not quite able to find it underneath that tower. And unfortunately, Poppy's not able to find that gank. Oh, look at the left-hand side of things. Perilla with the outplay over there on Unarity. He was in trouble from word go, and not the way they wanted that lane to start off.
So one of the other issues of Odin falling severely behind in the dual lane is the fact that the one big tool you have for your team, the cage, it now becomes a death sentence for Odin. He can't do anything with that. But over in the dual lane, he's actually in a little bit of trouble, forced to use the bird bomb jump to get out. And back over into the solo lane, it looks like a Wheelix wants to make another opportunity over onto the Chang'e. And they realize that Chang'e is a weak point of the team because of her lack of escape mechanics or burst healing, so they're going to focus on her.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of the same thing why you expect Hell to be ganked over and over and over again. It's that lack of mobility. Hell, at least, has some sort of escape. She has burst healing. She has a large amount of sustain. Kaspanify? Not so. Not so. And he's been the one that's been pressured almost to the point of death by Dalo in that right-hand side of things. Farrakrick doing okay for himself in the mid lane. Mid camps round 2, spawning in about 20 seconds or so. But the story of the game thus far, it's been Unarity just out-pressured in this left-hand side of things, and Fusion not able to really be able to make any plays.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the level disparity. You've got Unarity. Oh my goodness,
coming
that's
down
going
to
to
the
be a
Fusion
kill.
once
Odin
again, drops the cage, and you mentioned it, Death Sentence. Well, it might not be named that, but it is certainly the Ring of Spears. Spears in his side.
Ring or death. I mean, Odin had no chance from the moment that he got stunned out under a Hoi Yi ultimate, but yeah, you look at the level disparity between Unarity and the Hoi Yi, and it's just phenomenal. 6-4. Apollo just hitting 4, actually, so not a good spot for the members of Losing Road. They're actually looking like they're about to be on the Losing Road if they do not change their pattern here soon or find some kind of kill opportunity. Circuit, if she can get ahead in this jungle, that might be an opportunity, but right now...
Silence on a Hestrix, a lot of pressure as well. They're going to secure up the left-hand mid-camps again for the Poppies, and look at the right ones as well. They are doing so well in their mid-camp control. This will be 4 of 4 mid-camps at the second spawn. That's terrible. That is absolutely terrible for Losing Road.
And you know, one of the things I really like about the Poppies right now is that they've made full utilization of their potions. So both Isis and Awilix got a potion of physical might and magical might, respectively, and they haven't necessarily lost any advantages because of it. I mean, that 900 gold that their team is going to be down has already been made up for and then some. So I really like the aggression they put out across the map, making sure that they do have some kind of impact with that potion. Otherwise, they've completely wasted the 450 gold, but that's not the case here.
Yeah, well, look at the left-hand side again. Perilla's actually going to be freezing this wave up. He's only last hitting over here on this left-hand side. He's got his stacking item online. He wants to bait Apollo forward, and Unarity's forced to just go and pick up XP from this red buff. Farrakrick is going to be losing out on a little bit of that XP just to buy things up. Personally, I'd really like Unarity to just go and take this back camp as well. Potentially share it with somebody, just to try and get him in the game.
Well, I mean, the problem with freezing the wave, he really cannot come forward at all. I mean, just coming forward is already a huge risk, so he's going to look for any opportunity to just throw a shot onto some of these minions and get at least some kind of gold XP there. But now I think Hou-Yi, after reaching a certain point, is probably going to look to aggress a bit, just so they can start to look towards Gold Fury opportunities, just because of how decisive that the duo lane is winning over here for the Poppies. They can start to push a fight here, go for gold, fake it because they don't want to necessarily take a full-on 4v5 fight, and then pick up more kills and then potentially gold. So it's kind of the bait switch strategy.
Have a look at the ward coming through from Losing Road, though. Look at them, just inside the mid lane on the left-hand side of it, and at the back of this Gold Fury pit, they're basically saying, yep, we know we're going to be sentry warded out, but where are we planning our wards? Outside of sentry range. Look at the ward coming through from the Poppies over on towards their purple buff. This is very crucial coverage. This is very smart play in this early game from Losing Road. Right, yes, we're losing the early game, that's fine. Stop the bleeding, get themselves in the game. They're actually still in this. I love this play.
Yeah, but taking a look over to the builds, Shoot the Focus completed onto Hell after that back. Chang'e, I keep getting those two mixed up. Divine Ruin, so she is going for that anti-heal strategy. Now, this is going to be semi-helpful in lane. It has been working out a little bit going up against this against War Chi, but I think at the same time you can't be too aggressive after seeing 2 attempted ganks by Awilix. So this item feels a little odd to me in that regard. And you look at the late game, I don't know if she's necessarily going to be able to really get into range for that 100% anti-heal. But now we're going to see a large rotation over into the dual lane. Oh, the missed ring spears.
Don't even find David on A. And going back over towards the right-hand side thing for me as well, it's the lifesteal that she's getting there. The magical lifesteal. She's a vampiric shroud, and she has a soul stone at the same time. I think that's just a troll surrender vote. This is basically saying this Chang'e is leaving lane only when she's dead, only when she's required for team fights. She's going to be over here forever. War Chi can't pressure this tower.
Oh, but it looks like that might be a situation where she's about to die here soon, as Awilix is coming through the backside, warding, and no ward vision for the Chang'e. There's going to be the jump, there's going to be the damage, the immunity is already used, and now just looking for any kind of damage left. Nope, Hell is not going to be able to land anything at all. In fact, they're going to get a new ultimate landed onto them. But yeah, missing a couple of key skill shots. Good job by Chang'e to use that wax.
Apollo's actually going to ult over. He's looking for kills here. Unarity gets only so far. Daylo is still quite low. If Unarity finds a couple of auto attacks, he's got no so beautiful. He's got nothing to get in here. There was a fight in the mid lane as well. The new ultimate really trying to put pressure across the map. Losing Road looking for something. Looking for something anywhere, but not able to find a hint of it.
You know, I'm never a fan of the Apollo cross-map ulti at this early stage of the game. He just had no mana to contribute anything. He didn't have no mana to make it all the way to the soul lane. And Hou-Yi now is looking at the Gold Fury.
Right? Look at the important part where he fell down. Right in the Fire Giant pit. Right in the middle of it. So he was up against walls wherever he went. He gets over the other side of that, I'm sure he has an influence.
Yeah, so this is why that rotation was kind of awkward, just because now the Gold Fury is going to pretty easily go over to the Poppies. No contention at all. So 240 gold going to each individual pocket of the Poppies team roster. And they might try to aggress onto this Odin, who is completely caught out. Not sure if he has a jump yet, but there it is. He's going to go ahead. Oh, no, going right back in. There is the cage. Not going to be enough. Daylo is going to secure that kill. Whew, man, that yoink.
Dalo just says nope to Mr. Fusion right there. They're looking to dive the mid lane tower. Farrakrick's in trouble, kind of back out of that one, but that was phenomenal. And now actually looking at this composition, which makes a lot of sense. Have a look at the comp. Look at what they've got. They've got Odin. They've got Sir Cat as well. Two characters that even without a knock-up can be grabbed back in if caught at the right moment.
Oh yeah, that's the ideal situation, and I like the fact that she just had her ultimate queued up and ready to go for when the inevitable jump comes, and I think Odin knew that it was coming as well, just trying to hope for being able to jump over the wall and get away safely, but it wasn't going to happen. Meanwhile, over in the solo lane, Chang'e getting a little aggressive, trying to maybe steal away the blue buff from the Hell. She's not able to do so, however, she is able to exchange a little bit of damage, but she still was on the losing end of that trade, and whoo!
Oh! Warchi really starting to ramp up the damage over here. He's going to start looking for probably a Warlock Sash first, then probably a Book of Thoth. He's going to go full stacking because they're ahead, right? He can go this build route, and he's going to have so much damage in the mid game.
And Odin's still heavily rotating. He's actually quite far behind the opposing Khepri, sitting at level 7 right now, where Khepri is level 9. But to be fair, Khepri has about 3 assists onto his person, as Odin only has 2 deaths.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Odin, you need to die a little bit less. Khepri doing a nice job for his team as well, rotating around, giving a lot of people shields. Look at the mid lane, look at the right-hand side camps, just going to be able to pick up. So losing road, pick up a little bit of something back in their pocket. Take a quick look at the graphs at this early stage. The XP difference is 4k. That's significant at 11 minutes, considering there's only 3 kills.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 3 kills across the map, but I think that what's really hurt them is, first of all, the Odin not able to get the best farming mechanic, and actually spending a lot of times in the death chambers as he is going to fall in the middle lane. Yet again, Khepri plus team is going to secure that one, but that is a big factor, and then I think another factor, of course, is the Apollo. So basically, the dual lane is where a large portion of the XP difference is, and a good chunk of the gold difference.
I don't really like the choice by Perilla early on, even though, you know, he's got the Transcendence, his stacks mean a lot more. Keeps the wave back. Keeps
these heavy rotations.
Oh yeah, look at everyone over towards that right-hand side of things. Supports will be piling in here in a second. Dalo's here already. Hestrix wants to come in. You can see him lining it up, but Perilla with the outplay underneath tower. Well, you're already behind, you know, why not be behind a little bit?
Oh, but now the fight is going to start. Khepri is looking for the initiation onto the Chang'e, and Odin able to secure the cage to disengage for his team. He's going to just jump out, and really surprised to see that the Poppies didn't just try to burst him down, but Chang'e, lazy backing under tower, might end up falling here as Hell comes in to try and find the damage, does secure it, might be able to even save the Khepri, and yes, able to do so. Meanwhile, blue buff was taken away by the rest of the members of the Poppies. They're still looking under tower. Odin has nowhere to go, and Khepri is going to use the ultimate on himself to secure himself from dying. That's going to be a host of kills going over to the Poppies, and no loss whatsoever.
And they're going to get their solo lane tower. They have not burned the circle of protections either. Perilla's here in the mid lane to clear things out, even after he's picked up a tower on that left-hand side. The Poppies, all guns blazing. They know they've got the advantage, and this is where the Poppies play strong from. If you feel back to the last couple of Challenger Cups, yeah, you go back to the start of the split, start of the year, and the Poppies were absolutely phenomenal, really pushing for that SPL spot. And did they take Dignitas to a couple of games? Yeah, they did, and then they had a DC problem. They play phenomenally from in front. The Poppies really struggle, though, if they ever get behind. When they're in front, they are clinical, they prove the games that they win, and they prove why they win. Hestrix just gets knocked up in his speed buff. And what do they say about that Wheelish ultimate?
Yoink! That's what I think of every time I see when someone uses a jump mechanic to try to escape, and you just see the little purple tether come out. Oh no! Where are you going? Yoink! And that's the sound effect that plays in my head. But nonetheless, Apollo able to secure a tower for his team. So losing road, getting a little bit of global gold back into their pockets, a little bit of global experience as well. So something to kind of mitigate the these losses that they're seeing across the map, especially over in the solo lane and the duo lane especially. So Apollo getting back into his split pushing nature is one of the ways I think that Losing Road can definitely come back into this game. Just drawing attention from the enemy team and then trying to make some kind of contribution to the overall team and being able to come into the fight immediately is just such a huge advantage that Losing Road has if they want to get back into this game.
And have a look at things from Unarity. He's actually farmed his way significantly back into this game. He's slightly ahead on itemization. Really, really good job of him. That's the item pathing for you, though. He's got a slightly cheaper route in Dev's Gauntlets, Ichival, and then into the boots, obviously, compared to a Transcendence and a Soul Eater, a lot more expensive. So there will be a little bit more power for Perilla Online right now, but overall the item build from Unarity is stronger going ahead into the next 10 or so minutes. And that's where they're really aiming from Losing Road. They're right. We're not in this game now. We're not in this game now. There's no way of getting to save it, Iffy.
The whiff, but the fight is going to continue. That's going to be the yoink coming out from Awilix, so she's going to feather step, bring the poor little Odin all the way down really low. Really aggressive play by Dalo, actually going to get punished from that with a waxing moon. Serket on the backside, is she going to find any damage? Yes, they're going to focus all their attention on the Khepri, but there's a low hell over on the other side. Khepri using the ultimate onto her to make sure she survives, and everyone survives. No one is actually going to perish here, but he comes in, he's going to be able to find the kill onto Chang'e. No, not just yet. Hell finds the kill onto Unarity though, and that is going to be a first time kill for Losing Road, but they still lose a team member and not able to secure much more for themselves.
And remember that that kill was at the very, very outbreak of that fight as well. As soon as all of the puppies started piling in, Losing Road began losing that fight. It's not over quite yet. Look at the setup, continues in the mid lane. Kaspainov, got to be real careful, looking for that Spirit Ball, doesn't quite find it. The jump on towards Farija, he's got to back the heck out. Chat trying to call me out and make me change the saying of that name. Well, there you go. Spanish viewers, I hope you do understand them. Do try. Oh! I did not think that Spirit Ball would have done that. No way.
Pop goes the weasel.
That was all down to the penetration that came through from the hell slightly before that Spirit Ball.
Oh yeah, it was a combined effort, and credit to the ISIS being able to hit that Spirit Ball. Odin, not so sure if he's gonna actually be able to make a huge contribution in this Gold Fury steal. In fact, ISIS might be able to just box him out, and that's gonna be the Poppies getting the Gold Fury, and a couple of members of Losing Road immediately dying, and Surrender Vote comes out. Possibly will go through. They are 1 to 13.
I feel like that one will go through.
Yeah.
Look at the goal difference. That's the crucial factor. Let's head on over towards the graphs. Let's start talking about it. 8.6k the goal difference in 16 minutes. It was only a couple K a few minutes ago at like 11 minutes or so. It wasn't all that much. It was only a 3-0 game. Like there was nothing in it. All of a sudden, Puppy blew it wide open. That fight in right-hand lane. They committed, but they knew that they had the healing on their side and were cycling through it, that they were safe in committing. This is the strength of running a Khepri with an Isis and with a Hell. You just have so much sustain and so much anti-death that the opposition team has no choice but to fall to Perilla again.
Well, I mean, they have several big issues, one of which is that they don't have a weakening curse yet. I mean, that's one of the most guaranteed, safest ways to get the anti-heal out. Odin is too far behind to be a stable and sturdy body when he uses his anti-heal, as Chang'e is going to be eliminated immediately. Odin, right after that, the anti-heal not going to really matter all that much because they can't even survive the initial start of the fight, and it's just going to keep going. They're gonna actually find Unarity behind the Phoenix. Yeah, this is pretty done deal. But yeah, they don't have the sturdy body through Odin because he's so far behind. You look at him now; he's only level 9 still, as everyone else in the game. Literally everyone else in the game is double digits. Khepri actually level 14 too, so a 5-level difference there. And then on top of all that, Chang'e, who does have the best anti-healing, I suppose, for her position, is not going to be able to get too close in these fights just because she's getting blown up by Hou Yi.
Yeah, she can't really get in there, and that's a huge problem. Take a look at Fusion's item build as well, opting to go for the Bluestone Pendant over the Watcher's Gift, looking for the steal though. Here Strix actually getting beads as the pull in, but Poppy secure off the Fire Giant with the Circle of Protections. Hestrix has now got a long way to run away. He's been marked out by that Hou Yi as well. Just CC'd up, killed off, all straight standard killing sprees coming through for the Puppies. Nothing too funky. fusion. He's looking for it. He wants it.
He wants to save his team is what he wants to do. Not sure if that's actually going to work. Is yeah, Unarity is about to fall here. That's another kill. So most of the members of there you go. Most of the members of Losing Road are actually going to perish here. That's at least a Phoenix. Nuwa doing old Nuwa split push things. Not going to work the same way as it used to.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can dump as many minions as you want into that tower, but they don't just hard shove through. You've already lost your right hand Phoenix, so you're already behind. There's no minions coming from mid lane as they clear them out, and those minions just underneath the tower. She's still trying. She gets it successfully, but she will base away. Puppies are just like, right, for that we got 2 Phoenixes, and we're working on your last remaining tower. I think that's a worth trade for the buffs.
You know, I still remember when Nuwa used to just throw down her ultimate and then get like all the buffs in the world, like double attack damage, double everything, and then just wreck Phoenixes or towers. You might not remember that, but that was an annoying time period for a lot of people in Smite. Nuwa would get banned out in quite a few ranked games because of it. But she desperately tried to make some gold happen for her team. They lost all their Phoenixes. It's not looking like a good time for Losing Road. You look over at Hell's player healing, reaching a little bit over 17,000, which is more than most of the player damage numbers. Actually, all the player damage numbers on Losing Road.
Alright, looks like the game probably finished at about the 23-minute mark. We've hit the stasis mode for that one. I'm gonna say that's how it all went down, and honestly, there's really no way the Puppies can lose this from here. They're going to pick up this third Phoenix, they're going to base, they clean up items, wait for the minion waves to shove in, and then they're going to do the stock standard thing. Puppies really solid from the get-go. That's what I like from them.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to imagine a scenario where they actually lose this game from here. It would have to be a huge fire giant throw into an all-out burst onto the Titan. Like the one benefit I will give them is that Losing Road did make a Phoenix Bear. They did take out a tower to where if they needed to make a last ditch, hey guys, we got to go for the win here or nothing. Like if we deicide them a fire giant, this is our last shot. They made the lane for it. They made the mid lane the go-to lane for if that happens. Which acts really nicely because you imagine the route from the Fire Giant pit to mid lane as opposed to the Fire Giant pit to left lane be a little bit more difficult. But that is one of the few scenarios I see Losing Road actually being able to pull off a victory here.
Well, Puppies, congratulations moving forward into that next round. They'll be up against the winner of Team Instinct and the Angry Pikachus. The Angry Pikachus we saw take down Men of Aeron in the first round. So Puppies with it all to play for. Can they break it into the top 4? That's going to be the crucial factor, but they're going to be up against some stiff competition as well in the winner out of that match, because Team Instinct, they've put on a phenomenal showing all split long. Other side of the bracket, let's talk a little bit about it. VWS Gaming versus Team Illusion. VWS making the win, pushing themselves out of the semi-final. Excuse me. And Team Bazaar versus Perpetuum is currently in progress. One team will be moving forward, and it's basically on the line for seeding at this point. That's all that's going to change.
And I think that we are getting a little bit of technical difficulty from our production side. I'm not even sure he's actually still online. Let me check real quick. Yeah, he's still here. Okay. So he. All right. That's the verdict. All right. But Poppy's moving forward. Poppy's moving forward are going to take a pretty happy win, considering that Losing Road was actually ahead of them in terms of points. So now that the Poppies are going to be moving forward, their next opponent, which I'm not sure on, you'll have to quote me, or you'll have to help me on this one. Instinct or Angry Pikachus. Okay, so going to the next game. Angry Pikachu's 8th seed as of last week. I think that I think the Poppies would probably want to play against them, considering that Team Instinct is kind of number 1. But at the end of the day, if they are able to make it past the next round, that's going to secure them a lot of points.
Yeah, I mean, if they make it past semifinals, if they make it to the grand finals, the worst points they're working away with is 60. What did Losing Road pick up from that round? Well, they picked up 10 points. That pushes them to 130. 60 points secures them a top 4 berth. There is potentially only like Perpetuum that can knock them out if they beat Angry Pikachus in the next round. At worst, if they beat Team Instinct are at the top. They're not going to knock them out of a top 4 berth. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I mean, Team Instinct's not going anywhere. Right now, it's really just a fight between, I think, from third place down is really where the biggest fights are going. Don't get me wrong, Team Bizarre could make a huge run for first place and potentially get a monstrous amount of points and get moved up a little bit. But it's a bit hard to do so considering that I believe all the 3 teams in the top 3 are still in the tournament. So, respectively speaking, they're still gaining points. A lot of that.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back on the other side of this as we start setting up for the last semi-finals you will see in your fall EU Challenger Cup from the open bracket competitions. If you want to keep up to date with everything Challenger Cup, don't forget to head on over to Twitter. Search out for Tier Monster. Tier Monster and all the guys have phenomenally put together the Challenger Cup this split. And I'm the one from the team that has the experience on the Challenger Cup from last split. Phenomenal job to everyone down there. So I do recommend you jump on over to them, give them a follow. They run green tournaments all the time. There's a bunch of stuff that comes out of Team Monster. You follow them on Twitter, you get the latest updates. You're up to date with everything. Shadow Boy's on Twitter as well. Search for him, Shadow Boy Gaming. Of course, you want to follow myself and my casting journeys at Ranconius as well. We're all over there on Twitter. Target's our production guy. He's phenomenal. He's sitting here and he's listening to me talk him up, and his ego's growing, and I can feel it slowly filling the room. That's not a shot at you, Target. Your ego is in check. I'm okay with you. But he's doing a phenomenal job behind the scenes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a couple minutes, hopefully with your next semi-final match. Stay tuned.